Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar on the future of commerce. We're really excited to have you here, and we are going to get kicked off. Before we start, just a couple housekeeping things. Today's webinar will run for 30 minutes, and if you've got any questions, you can ask them in the chat over to your right. We'll also be recording today's session in case you have to cut out at any point or if you want to share it with your colleagues. Now to introduce you to our guest speaker, Sophie Ellis, who is Partner Manager at Facebook. She's got 8 years of agency side experience at agencies including Mediacom and PhD. So I'm really excited to hand it over to Sophie. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Let me just share my screen. There we go. All right, well, I'm very, very happy to be here to take you through Facebook's dialogue, the future of commerce. So I'll get started. Lisa's already mentioned my name. I'm agency partner manager based out of Dublin for UK and Ireland. So let's crack on. Before I sort of jump straight into, sort of the future of commerce dialogue, I think it's sort of appropriate just to speak for a couple of minutes on COVID and the impact on e-commerce. So I thought this slide would be a good one to share at this opportunity. So this is a survey from Ipsos. Just showing, in this survey done in each of these countries, the impact of COVID on e-commerce and the amount that people are, incrementally more doing e-commerce at the moment. So in the UK there, you'll see that that's about 18% in addition. So I'm not going to, dwell on this or talk any more about this, but I think it's important to just say that e-commerce has probably never been more important than at this time. It's something that we're certainly focusing on considerably at Facebook. Commerce has always been sort of part of our core, right from 2014, where it commenced after we sort of launched dynamic ads. And then since then, more and more businesses have come to our platforms to connect with customers and achieve their business goals. And then actually sort of all these developments that you can see throughout this timeline, much of what we've sort of built through is just in response to the customer behavior that we actually see on our platforms. So I'll go into a couple of examples for you here. So groups is a good example. So on Facebook, we initially sort of created groups. We actually learned that lots of people were using groups to buy and sell products, and they weren't actually designed for that in the first place. So it wasn't the smoothest experience, but we knew that people sort of wanted that functionality. So that's why, we sort of launched Marketplace, and it was created to make that experience just all that better, from making it easier to browse to also adding search capabilities as well. We found the same on Instagram as well. We found that, many of the messages and comments to businesses were actually asking about products. So people wanted to know an item's price, its availability, and how they could actually buy it. So we learned that Instagram was becoming the new way for people to shop. So that's why we created Instagram Shopping, which made it easier for people to buy, from the brands that they actually loved. And then another example, I think my favorite example, in live video, we actually saw that people wanted to buy products that were featured in the live video because they were commenting or messaging the person or the business about it. And as a result, what we're doing now is we're testing live selling within Asia. And what this does is it enables people to connect with sellers more easily when they see something they like at any time during the live video. So the interested buyer can easily get connected to the seller through a messaging thread. And the way that people discover new products has totally changed. And, such as how people have been interacting with groups, Instagram and live videos. And it's not about anymore sort of waiting for people to actively shop and search for you. So you used to have to go to a store, but now, all we're sort of doing all day, every day, pretty much on social platforms is sort of searching for brands and products that we love. So shopping has almost become sort of this always on activity that we're now doing above above that necessity state. So the need and then the acquisition, it's just a constant sort of window shop. And, you know, there's no real better place to connect with your customers in a personal and also relevant way than across Facebook's family of apps. So there are now 2.9 billion people using Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or Messenger each month to connect with family, friends, communities, and also the businesses that they love as well. So as we invest in commerce, our goal at Facebook is to create better shopping experiences for those people and businesses by weaving shopping just into the fabric of everything that we do. So, you know, our investments aspire to make shopping more, and then there's 4 ways here that, you know, we aim to achieve this. So the first is curated. So we are, you know, ultimately showing people the products they are interested in, and based on who their friends are, based on, you know, what they follow and what their interests are as well, to make them, you know, all that more relevant. And then convenient as well, so making it easy to purchase things that you see on our platform. Security is obviously, you know, very important for us because it makes people have the confidence to buy on Facebook. And then, you know, making everything accessible, so enabling, you know, businesses, no matter what the size of the business, to be able to sell on our platform, and giving each person the ability to participate as either a buyer or a seller, which creates economic opportunity. And then, you know, obviously we're, you know, through these investments, we're weaving shopping into the fabric of each of our apps to help people gather inspiration and find the products and the items that they love. So here's what that actually looks like. So there's 2 sections here, one around driving the curated discovery, and then the second around enabling convenient purchases. So I'm just going to start with driving curated discovery here. So, you know, whether you're going about your day, scrolling through your feed, or searching for something specific, we've invested in solutions to connect products to people and people to products as well. You know, so the first one here is dynamic ads. Of course, you know, you'll be familiar with these already. They allow advertisers to reach their target audience with relevant products from their online product catalog in you know, such an automated and scalable way. But then, you know, we also have dynamic ads with checkout as well. And, you know, while this is still pretty much in closed beta, we're really excited about this potential. And, you know, it just sort of really helps to reduce the friction there by making it, you know, possible for people to purchase products directly from a dynamic ad within their feed. So, you know, millions and millions of interactions take place between, you know, buyers and sellers each day on Marketplace. So Marketplace is actually a shopping destination where people can browse and also buy products. So I really like this example here. So they're called Hats Unlimited, and they're a California-based hat retailer. And they started listing hats on Marketplace. And what they saw was their referral traffic from Facebook jumped nearly 10 times from the previous year. And they saw a 23% increase in directly attributable online conversions, which were attributable back to Marketplace alone. So you can see that there's, you know, some really big impact there. And then, you know, the second is around sort of extending your advertising within the Marketplace environment. So that's obviously somewhere where you can advertise. So Ubisoft is the example here that we're using, and you know, by extending their placements from the, you know, just the Facebook newsfeed to Marketplace as well, they saw a 67% increase in purchases by using that combination as well. And towards the end of last year as well, we actually extended our advertising through to be able to go into the search environment as well. So you've really got this comprehensive sort of advertising formats within the Marketplace environment here. Cool. And then, you know, switching things up a little bit, you know, I want to talk about Instagram for a little bit. So, you know, there's a variety of commerce experiences across Instagram, and some of which, you know, are in the very early stages at the moment. The first, you know, on the left here that I want to talk about is Instagram shopping. So, you know, it allows businesses to tag products in posts and also stories as well, as you can see through this example. And then, you know, the next point is around Instagram shopping ads. It makes businesses run shopping posts as ads, making it easier to reach their specific target audiences, again, as you can see here in the example. Cool, and then another new ad format that we've launched is Instagram Explore. So this is sort of meant for people within that sort of discovery mindset to target them at that appropriate time there. So, you'll see that each of these is sort of new or upcoming, and, it's sort of a massive evolution of how we've sort of previously done commerce on Instagram before. Cool, and then, just talking about another couple of very exciting things, very recent things, but this year we've actually launched shopping from creators. So, what this is, it makes it possible for people to shop inspiring looks from the creators they love without actually leaving Instagram. So they have the ability to tag products in their posts, and people can easily shop from the people that they admire here, as you can see in this example. And then we've also launched Instagram product launches as well. So Adidas is the example here in the right-hand example. So Adidas partnered with Childish Gambino, so that's obviously Donald Glover, to build anticipation around their specific sneaker collection that they were launching. So a couple of really cool things that are going on there. And then not to forget WhatsApp as well. We obviously are building out our WhatsApp for business products. So I've got an example here of a recent launch. This side, intended mostly for small businesses in their communication, but you can actually upload this catalog. So you'll see this example here for Cupcakes by Izza. She's implemented this the catalog in WhatsApp for Business, and what she saw was generally 60% of her orders are closed via WhatsApp, and that sales by using this channel have actually increased 37% year on year. So it's important to sort of recognize and know sort of the offerings that we're really developing in this environment. Cool, and then on to the second part, which is enabling the convenient purchases. So, the first is around messaging. So it's foundational, pretty much to how people buy and sell on Marketplace today. So driving leads for autos and also home rentals, and of course, exchanges between people as well. So we're actually sort of building two ways as well for people to buy directly on site. In addition to offsite as well. So, you'll see that there's checkout on Facebook that we're developing, and also Instagram. And what this does is it makes it quick and also secure for people to buy the products that they discover without having to leave the app at all. Cool. So get an idea for the functionality here. Great. And then, we obviously have a vision here. So in the future, people will be able to seamlessly make purchases, send money, donate to causes they care about across the entire Facebook family of apps, so Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp. And we intend to do this with Facebook Pay. So today it's obviously only available in the US, specifically for fundraisers, in-game purchases, event tickets, etc. But over time, we do plan to bring Facebook Pay to more people and places, including for use across Instagram and WhatsApp as well. Cool. So we understand, this is something I really want to focus on, that trust is really important, especially in commerce. And that's why we're investing in integrity and security across our commerce experiences. So let me just use Marketplace as an example here. So, you've got these three criteria here: policies, technology, and purchase protection. So the first around policy. So our terms of service and community standards are clear that users cannot post content that infringes other people's rights, including IP rights, or content that's otherwise unlawful. So proactively, we have teams actually building products and operations to prevent suspected counterfeits from making their way into commerce or ads. So, reactively as well, we have a global intellectual properties team working actually 24/7 to process reports of counterfeits and take action on content and people as appropriate. So coming into the technology piece, so, through a combination of automation and also human review, as many of you will know, commerce listing and ads are reviewed against our policies before they go live. And then, the final part about sort of purchase protection, we actually offer purchase protection on Marketplace, so people are covered in case something goes wrong. So, we're using these three elements to make sure that, we keep sort of, everything at integrity and also as secure as possible. Cool. So just sort of going outside of this a little bit, for us very much, commerce isn't about conversion. It's also about sort of connection. So there are three different worlds, on the Facebook family of apps where you can make this connection. So obviously you've got your physical world, the present day. We've got augmented reality as well, and then we've also got virtual reality that we're focusing on. So I'm just going to talk about this for a bit. But our mission at Facebook has always had connection at its core, and we are actually building products that will allow you to form deep connections with consumers across all three of these worlds. And you might be thinking, oh, but I feel like augmented reality, I don't know if that's really relevant to me and my customers. Certainly when I sort of first started looking at this, I thought that it was mostly relevant to people, within gaming itself. But I've actually put this chart here as well, which shows that, of these people polled, only 47% of people wanted to use augmented reality to play games, whereas 67% want to learn about a place that they are visiting, and then equally 67% want to learn new skills or techniques. And I think also worth mentioning is 61% of people want to use AR to visualize how clothes might fit on them. So it's clear that this actually has implications for all industries, from CPG, retail, e-commerce, and travel as well. And we expect that revenue will sort of increase year on year as well. So, the revenue recorded was 166 million in 2017 on AR, but we expect that to jump to 2 billion by 2022. So, you've sort of seen this, you've gone, yes, I'm sold. The next question you might have is, well, great, how can I actually sort of capitalize on this today? So, at Facebook, we actually have a platform that's specifically catered for AR, and it's called SparkAR, and you can, Google it and go onto the platform now if you like. But it's a platform for, creation, distribution, and also understanding AR as well. Cool. It's actually completely free to use, and you don't require, a massive amount of technical know-how to be able to use it. And it works on Facebook and Instagram, so you can reach your audience, completely with ease here. And it, ultimately what it does is it puts the power of augmented reality just back into the hands of developers and creators by allowing them to reach, the 2.5 billion people on Facebook. So let me just, sort of go on to a bit about how you can actually use AR to drive results for your business. So if we look at our, quintessential classic funnel approach, here's a good example of the awareness phase. So this is an example by the NBA to leverage their dunk cam. And this is just sort of utilizing the augmented reality feature for the awareness functionality. And then we sort of go on to the consideration piece. So this example by Wayfair is absolutely amazing. So, consideration is featured for people who, may know about the product or know that it's what they want, but they're not sure who to buy it from, what color specifically. And in this example, you can see that they, made an AR filter so someone could see what the piece of furniture would look like in their living room, which I think is really sort of important. And you can use this for things like trying out shades of lipstick and things like that, just to really sort of grasp that consideration piece. And then finally onto the conversion piece. So, here's an amazing example by Michael Kors. We had a collaboration that won Campaign of the Year by using this AR filter. And this was a conversion-driven campaign where, obviously you could test the glasses that they were leveraging at this time to subsequently go on and encourage a conversion once you've had the opportunity to test it. Cool. And, there's two examples here. I can talk all day about different examples, but, in order to test it, you want to have sort of proof in the pudding. So two examples here. The one on the left-hand side is We Make Up AR. So We Make Up, tested their AR filter of testing this shade of lipstick, and they saw a 27.6 point lift in purchases as well as a higher CTR. And, when you take that same Michael Kors example as well, off the back of that, what we saw was a 20.4 point lift in ad recall, as well as a 14% incremental lift in conversion. So you can really see that this is sort of driving not only conversion-based metrics, but also brand-based metrics as well. So, you might have seen all of these offerings, some of them not even available yet, but there's still things that, I would highly encourage, people to look at, instantly today to make sure that you are sort of, operating best practice. So, the first point around this is around reducing friction. I don't need to sort of go into too much detail on this because you'll all know this already. But, there's a statistic that 85% of UK digital shoppers actually abandon carts because of loading delays. I certainly know that I do the same. So first and foremost, this is the first thing that needs to be looked at. So the second point is around making shopping more personalized. Obviously, we've got the Facebook Pixel and the Facebook SDK, which you can use to sort of leverage your customer behavior and better understand your audience's interests and needs as well, which is really important. The third point, which I think is, one of the most, I think they're all important to be honest, but this one's really significant because it's how you buy your media on the platform. So making sure you've got the basics right. So for this, we really propose sort of solution of the Power 5 concept. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you can go onto our website and see what the Power 5 performance concept, but it's just things that you need to apply to get your best performance from your performance-based campaigns. So the first is auto advanced matching, then account simplification. So you don't need 20 million ad sets, if a couple will do, that will improve your performance. Campaign budget optimization is the third point. So making sure that you're putting the budget on the campaign level and letting the algorithm do its thing, rather than trying to control it separately. Automatic placements, so opting into as many environments in advertising in the Facebook family of apps as possible, and also obviously dynamic ads, we see improved performance there as well. So, this is sort of more around, advertiser setup. And I don't think there's a more important time for this than now, but, rather than having things like product and marketing and loyalty teams all sort of operating in silos, we would highly recommend just as much as you can sort of breaking these down and integrating these teams so everything becomes a bit more seamless, frictionless, and also personal as well. And then, just embrace experimentation. I think, you've seen some amazing examples today, and I think just make sure that you've also always got this test and learn mentality. Have you tested something on our platform? If not, can we sort of get that arranged? And if it did work, then great. But if it didn't work, then at least you've learned something off the back of it, and you're continually sort of learning. So that's the main sort of 5 points that I would recommend. And then I also wanted to just put three points around sort of COVID-19 specific actions as well, which I think very well ladder up into these 5 points. But the first point, specifically on how to deal with COVID right now, put people first. Your workers, your colleagues, your loved ones, meet people where they are as well. And, people are continually sort of exploring new ways of staying close and making sure that, businesses sort of are adaptable to that. And that kind of brings me into the second point, which is acting with agility. So finding these new channels and platforms to achieve your marketing objectives, and communicate proactively and adjust your messaging to be relevant at this time. I think that's really important. And then the third point is around leading with action. So making sure that, you know, you've got your sort of concept, you've got what you want to do. So make sure that, you know, you're sort of doing it as a business, you know, whether it's sort of offering free exercise classes, streaming entertainment, even sort of companies repurposing their factories to produce hand sanitizer, just making sure that that action is done. All right, so that brings me to the end of the presentation. I know you've sort of all been putting your questions in, so I'll take them now for the last 5 minutes.
Thanks so much, Sophie. Yeah, quite a few questions coming through. If you have any, now's the time to put them into the chat function over to the side. So I will start with Scarlett's first question. If I don't have big creative budgets, can I still take advantage of all these tools?
Yeah, so the majority of our tools, you don't need to have, you know, marketing budgets for them. I guess it's on a case-by-case basis, right? So where I would start with that is thinking about what you want to get out of your campaign. Do you want to drive sales? Okay, so what are the, you know, bits of advertising? What can you do within Facebook's family of apps to actually drive that? And therefore sort of planning that out accordingly. Like with the SparkAR example, you'll have seen that that's completely free to go into and use and experiment. And we've also got things like the video creation kit as well. Again, search this if you are interested in knowing more. But the video creation kit is a way to adjust your creative assets if you don't have the budget. So you can do things like put in stills that you do have and turn them into an animation, into a video. So that, you know, you know, as I sort of mentioned in the presentation, we're catering for people really of you know, any kind of size.
Amazing. And a question from Joe. What audience does an Instagram product launch go out to?
I'm not sure I understand that one.
Joe, if you've got a bit more detail, I think that would be helpful. If we don't get it to today, but you do put it in, we will try to get it answered for you.
Yeah.
Ollie asks, I've not personally been advertised to via WhatsApp. How does this work, and how do brands overcome GDPR/consent? Also, how do brands identify group chats that are relevant to engage with?
Yeah, so, you know, WhatsApp for Business is very much in its infancy. That's a great big question. So I'll just kind of take it piece by piece. So we don't do advertising on WhatsApp specifically. You won't have seen any of that at the moment. So what we're doing is we're really helping businesses build out their WhatsApp for Business profiles. And you know, with the GDPR compliance point, it's really up to businesses to get that compliance, get that opt-in, get that explicit opt-in, to be able to use WhatsApp for Business, you know, to use our WhatsApp for Business API, for example. And that's something that, you know, we do have to have that sort of opt-in. Yes, I have got this compliantly opted into before you use the platform. So that kind of captures that piece as well. But when we're not advertising on it yet, but you know, at the moment we're just making it sort of a great platform, you know, for small businesses to really engage with their customer database at the moment.
Amazing. And I think we've got time for one last question. Oh, Joe's come back with, can you have a notification reach only your followers, or could you hashtag it and have this reach anyone that follows this hashtag?
Is that with the note? I think that might be with the notifications. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yes. So again, that's still, you know, fresh in the day for that one. So you know, obviously it's not launched in the UK yet, but you know, once it does, all the logistics will sort of be, you know, will be presented at the same time as that. So you know, we can have that discussion at that point.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sophie. That's about all the time we have for today. I really appreciate you joining us. Just before everybody goes, I've just got a couple quick announcements. Next week, we are hosting an SEO to the Rescue webinar, which is free to join. If you're interested in joining us, you can register at incubeta.com/events. Also, we are running classroom courses at the moment. We have had fundamentals of digital marketing and feed management so far. Next week, we are running a Raise Your Social Strategy training course, followed by fundamentals of SEO. You can get 15% off with the code Ignite15. It should have just popped up in your chat bar. You can go to ignite.incubeta.com in order to book one of our courses. So thank you again so much for joining us. Thank you, Sophie, so much for your presentation. I hope you guys found this interesting. You should receive an email either tomorrow or maybe later tonight, depending on how fast we can get the video uploaded, with all of these details as well. Thank you again. Have a good day. Bye.